Welcome everybody. For those of you who may not know who I am, my name is Dr. Katrina, and I am one of the accountability coaches here at Staffless Practice. And I want to start off by apologizing. I have a sinus infection, so I apologize for the voice and the sniffles, but here we are. So, for those of you that have been with us before, I am transitioning away from doing stats to more of how to survive practice. And I yeah, exactly. And, before we get going, I wanna take a moment and share my story with you and how I ended up kinda with staffless practice. I walked those shoes of a troubled practitioner, and it was definitely one of my lowest, and I will tell you that, Dr. Jody and her team in staffless practice really turned it around for me. And when I started chiropractic, I've had 2 associate positions before I opened my own practice, and, they were different in their own ways. I learned a lot of things that I liked and a lot of things that I didn't like, but I was still an associate doctor. So at the end of the day, I'm done. Well, my last associate position, I learned a lot, and when I say this, it's not a personal thing, it's just what was happening in that office just didn't jive with who I was as a person. But we were a insurance-based, high volume. I was seeing 100 patients a day, 60 new patients a month, 5 days a week. I was seeing a patient every 3 to 5 minutes, and it broke me. It broke my spirit. I could not keep that up. And so after doing that for almost 4 years at that particular practice, I said, "Look, I just I can't. I can't do this anymore." So I decided to take the leap of faith. An opportunity came my way and I opened my own. And here we are. We all know, we're all sitting here going, "Yeah, it's still scary every single day." And so in opening my practice, I got overwhelmed very quickly and I panicked. So I put the systems and procedures that I knew worked on repeat. I immediately got in network with insurance. I started to do high volume. Um, and I also really quickly learned for me that wasn't working. I was in the office at 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I was leaving at 8 o'clock at night. And I'm a one woman show. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I was here from 7 in the morning till 5 o'clock at night. I'm burning the candle at all the ends. There's no candle, it's gone, it disappeared. I'm not spending time with my family. I'm not doing anything fun. I had no boundaries, so someone would, call the office and they're like, "Hey, I hurt. Can I come see you on a Saturday?" "Sure, I'm desperate. I need to get this business off the ground. Yes, you can come in on a Saturday." "Well, hey guys, I can't make it to the football game. I gotta go see patients." So I was miserable. And on top of it, I was doing all of these things, and the bank account was doing this. And I literally had that conversation with myself where you're doing math that you don't want to do and there's a lot of minus signs involved. And I'm sitting here doing, I literally have 2 months left and the savings, it's gone. There's nothing left. After 2 months, I'm going to have to close my doors. And I reached out to Dr. Jody and the team. And that's when they really helped me learn that as a chiropractor, I was kinda just it was ingrained in me that you have to say yes to everything. You have to say yes to everyone. You got in this profession to help people, so how could you possibly say no to somebody? And you wanna make yourself available at all times to help. We're healers, it's what we do. And they helped me realize that while that's not wrong, you also have to have an equal exchange of time, energy, and money. And I was not doing that. And through the systems, and some of which we're going to talk about today, through the systems of the Staffless Practice Academy, it almost gave me the permission I needed. And I hate to say that word, but I just don't know how else to say it. I needed to come to that realization that it's okay to be passionate about serving a certain population. You don't have to be everything to everybody. I can't do it. And when I tried, I was floundering. Now that I have honed in on who I love to serve and we have that equal exchange of energy, I don't mind spending my time with them. And we're also having an equal exchange of money because I got out of network with insurance. My practice has taken off since then. And that's where I want us to focus today is I know that being in practice, it can really just take everything you have out of you. And I want us to start dreaming a little bit and I want us to start thinking about what the future can look like and what we're going to do to get there. Because it's so easy just to get wrapped up in working in our practice all day, every day, and not working on the practice and on ourselves. So, first things first, this is a little exercise that we at Staffless Practice have. We call it Life Pie. So, think of your pie, okay? You can cut it into equal portions, or you've always got that one person that says, "Oh man, apple pie is my jam." And so you give them like the first quarter of the pie and then everybody else gets a little sliver. That's okay. Your slices of your pie, they're going to change in the sense that one day or one season of life, certain aspects might be bigger or smaller than others, and that's okay. And they're going to ebb and flow. But at the end of the day, we have to remember that there's more to you than just being a holistic practitioner. You have a physical side, you have an emotional side, you have your professional side. There's all these things that make you up. Okay. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start dreaming. So, what I want you to do is I want you to take a second, go get 3 sheets of paper, 3 blank sheets of paper. And I guess you could double it up if you had to, if you wanted to do front and back. But we need 3 sheets. All right. So the first sheet of paper you're going to take, you're going to fold like a hot dog bun. All right. Once you make your hot dog bun, I want you to take that piece of paper and fold it into thirds. We're making a sheet of paper that's got 6 squares on it. All right. Now, once you got a sheet of paper with your 6 squares, you're going to open it up. And at the top of each square, we're going to write a little something, something. So your first square, I want it to say physical. Your second square should say emotional. Third square is spiritual. Fourth square is career. Fifth square is family. And then your sixth square is friends and social. So again, you've got your sheet of paper, you've got 6 squares. Each square is labeled individually. You should have physical, emotional, spiritual, career, family, friends, or social. All right, cool. Now, this is hard. Do not put limitations on your dreams. When we're about to dream, I don't want you to think about, I'm never going to have money for that. That could possibly never happen. I don't want you to think about that. So don't put limitations on yourself. Now, if you don't want to do this exercise right now, that's fine. We can go back and do it. You can do it later when you have some more time to think about it, but this is how we're going to do it. You're going to dream big. So when you go to the physical square, in your perfect life, physically, what does this look like for you? Now, when we say physical, most people think things like, I want to weigh a certain amount. I want to go to the gym this many times a week. And that's great. That can be a part of it. You want to become a vegan or whatever it may be. And that's part of it. Sure. Great. But there's also things like, I want to live in the mountains. I want to paint my whole house purple. I want to start diffusing essential oils. Whatever it may be, your physical space around you in your dream world, in my case, it's a herd of dachshunds. What does that look like? I'm a crazy dachshund person. Now, emotional, pretty self explanatory, but in your dream, what does that look like for you? What resources do you have available? I know for me, I am an introvert in an extroverted world. And at the end of the day, I just need my 30 minutes of silence before you start asking me questions. I need my day on the weekend. Just shh, don't talk to me. I'll come to you if I need you. Just leave me alone. But that's me. I emotionally need that time. If not, I get anxious, I get stressed. So, emotionally, in your perfect world, what have you created to give you the resources that you need to be successful emotionally? Is it seeking mental health counseling? Is it making that alone time? Whatever it may be, I want you to write that here. Now, spiritual. That may look very different for every person. Whatever that looks like for you in your dream world, no limitations. Is it a ritual or an act that you're doing every single day? Whatever it may be in your dream life, I want you to put it here. I know for me personally, going to church more regularly, trying to get to Bible, like all that stuff, I put it here. I haven't been as successful as I'd like to yet, but in my dream world, that is a really big part of my daily life. Now, career. Think about what your dream practice could be. Now, I'll share with you my dream practice is actually not to come to the office every day. I actually really only want to come to my brick and mortar about once a week. I really want a practice that can thrive and be successful without me having to be here. I personally want to transition from chiropractor to CEO. I'm not there yet, but that's the goal. But in my dream, that's what I dream. Other things, if you are really passionate about doing extremities, or you want to treat kids, or you want to do nutrition, functional medicine, whatever it is, do you have the certifications that you need to be able to do that? What does that look like? Family, always important. I can tell you when things were not going well with practice, I wasn't seeing my family. I wasn't spending the time with them that they wanted from me. And then when they asked it of me, it just caused more stress. So, in your dream world, what does that look like? Are you, if your family lives far away, are you making more time to say call mom multiple times a week? Or um, do you move closer to family? I don't know. What does that look like for you? And then in your last square, friends and social, in your dream life, let your hair down, cut loose, have a little fun. Are you, taking a cruise every year with your family? What are you once a week going out with the girls and having Mexican and margaritas, like whatever it is in your dream life, I want you to plug and chug what that looks like for you under friends and social. Now, the three pieces of paper you have today are our roadmap. This is where we're going. This is our destination. Okay. So now we're going to set that aside for a minute. And you're going to get your second sheet of paper. Bam. You're going to fold it into thirds, like you're going to stuff it in an envelope. Okay. Then you're going to unfold it. At the top, I want you to you're going to write what's not working. In the middle, what are some things we need to create? And then at the very bottom, support. So you're going to take your sheet of paper, fold it in thirds like you're stuffing it in an envelope, and you're going to write at the top, not working, in the middle, create, and at the bottom, support. Now, If we're going to go with the GPS analogy, we just plugged in our destination, but we also need to know where we're starting. This is our starting point. This is going to let us know where we're at. So the first thing I want you to do, and you got to be brutally honest with yourself, and it's okay. And this was a tough exercise for me. I had to have some moments with myself. Not working. What currently in your life, and it doesn't just have to be about your business, it can be with your family. Obviously, business, that's a big part of what we do. Is it your physical? Is it your lifestyle? What in your life is not working? So for me, some things that weren't working. I had gained a lot of weight. I wasn't eating well. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't spending time with friends and family. Um, I was taking health insurance. I was spending way too much time in the office. Way too much time in the office. I also wasn't getting enough new patients. Um, I wasn't practicing in a way that I loved. Like, so just whatever brings you anxiety goes in this box. So then what you do after you do that is you kind of sit down and you figure out, okay, well, I know what's not working. What do I need to do to start creating the dream where we want to go? What are some things that I can do to start removing some of that anxiety? So in the create box, for me, first thing, got out of network with insurance. And that was a lot of anxiety, but now that I've done it, I've never felt better and my practice is doing better. Okay, but I needed to create that because for me, taking insurance and being on the phone with all the insurance companies 8 hours a day was just not really that much, but it felt like it was causing me a lot of anxiety and it was keeping me away from my family. I needed to create more time with my family. I needed to create more alone time. I needed to create a system to help automate my procedures in my office so that I didn't have to be glued to my desk to the phone. I didn't have to be so involved when a new patient needed to schedule an appointment. I didn't have to answer the phone, put them into my electronic health record, then find a way to get them new patient. It all happens now for me. I don't have to be so engaged. So those are just a few examples of things that I needed to create to help reduce some of that anxiety in my life. When it comes to support, what do you need? What help do you need to try to start creating, but also getting on the road towards this? For me, I needed the Staffless Practice Academy team, the whole team. I relied heavily on my pastor, my partner. I actually needed an accountability coach. So, and I also needed someone to just listen, someone who had been there. So there was another chiropractor in the state of Virginia that I know that had kind of been through some of the things that I had, and she and I would meet up and we would talk. So I had to create my support system. Oops. I had to create my support system. Okay. Now we know where we want to go. We know where we're at and we don't like it. We're going to try to make it better. Okay. So how do we get there? How do we get the blue line on the map that's going to tell us where we need to go? We're going to set some goals. Everybody's favorite. So you're going to take your third sheet of paper. You're going to fold it like an envelope again, like you're going to stuff it in an envelope. And then what you're going to do at the top, you're going to write 5 years. In the middle, you're going to write 1 year. And at the bottom, you're going to write 1 month. Now, let's all be honest with ourselves. We all do it. So don't tell me you don't do it. Okay. We all think backwards when it comes to time. What do I mean? If I have a 9 a.m. chiropractor's appointment, here's how this goes. All right, I need to be there by 8:45 because being there at 9 brings me stress and anxiety, so I have to be there at 8:45. It takes me an hour to cross the mountain, so I need to leave at 7:45. Okay. Well, I need to be in the shower by 7, but I really want to get up early and enjoy my coffee, take the dogs for a walk. All right, so I need to get up at 6 a.m. So in order to make it to the chiropractor by 9, got to get up at 6. We all do it. Okay. Your whole day's gone. So that's what we're going to do here. We start at our destination and we work to where we are. So when you go back to your dream, now some of these dreams you have, maybe you can't do them in 5 years, but you can have a good idea of maybe where you want to be in 5 years. And it doesn't have to be all career related. So maybe one of your goals is I want to pay the house off. I want to take a transatlantic cruise. I want my practice to be collecting $1 million. I don't know. These are just the first three things that come across my head. Okay. Because maybe those are my three goals as well. All right. So you're going to start thinking, I want to pay my house off in 5 years. Okay. So you're going to do that math and you're going to try to figure out either how much you need to be saving. Are you going to pay extra monthly? What steps are you going to take to pay that house off in 5 years? Transatlantic cruise, great. What all do you need? Who's going on the cruise with you? How much is it going to cost? Do you need a passport? These are just a few things that you're already thinking of. You want your practice to make $1 million. How are you going to do it? You're going to start doing that math. 1 million divided by my patient dollar average. And maybe that is you need to start seeing 20,000 patients a year. Okay, well, at least now I know what I got to do. So then you're going to start looking at 1 year from now. Obviously, the house isn't going to be paid off, but what's a step that's going to get me closer to having that house paid off in 5 years? So maybe it's I make one lump payment of an extra $10,000 towards the mortgage. Transatlantic cruise. In a year, you've already, say, maybe you've got all the people you want going on the cruise, and y'all are trying to determine you've got the cruise line and the cruise you want to do, like, lockdown. Maybe in a year, you say, okay, I want to see 5,000 patient visits a year from now. And then a month from now, it sure would be nice to collect $1 million in a month. But let's just say if you go with collections, all right, well, I can't go from collecting whatever you're collecting now to 5,000 in a month, but maybe I can um, up it by $2,000 or $3,000. So what does that mean? I need new patients. How many new patients is that? Transatlantic cruise. Great. Get passport. And if the first one is pay off your mortgage, great. I throw an extra 250 or $1,200 towards my mortgage this month, whatever it may be. But we need to start laying out that roadmap so that we know how to get to your dreams. And I know it's hard because we always put restrictions on ourselves. Oh, that could never possibly happen. I could never pay my 30-year mortgage off in 5 years. Well, it would be tough. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you could if you really wanted to, if that's something you're passionate about doing, right? So when you do this, I really want you to get your cozy spot, get your cup of tea, coffee, whatever you float your boat. And I want you to think without limits. So that way we can really truly start to figure out what your passion is, how you want to live your life, so we can start to help you get rid of some of the baggage that you've got now to start moving forward towards that dream. And then before I start taking questions, I just want to end on a quote because this came across my desk the other day. It fits perfectly with what we are talking about. By Zig Ziglar. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And I know, especially as practitioners, it's so easy to want things to be perfect before you even begin to start trying to do something. I'm guilty of that myself. But truly, just start somewhere. It doesn't have to be perfect. You'll figure it out along the way, but just start moving forward and the rest is going to start to fall in place. Yeah. Well, I know we've all got to, it's your lunch break. I don't want to keep up or take up too much of your time, but I'd love if anybody has any questions before we go. What questions do you have? Perfect. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for your time. It was great hanging out with y'all this afternoon. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon and a good holiday weekend. Get some rest. Take care. Bye, everybody.